Hey everybody, another quick tutorial for you here. Today we're going to be talking about wireless communication. So that's a way for basically us to talk to our Arduino or have our Arduino talk to us without using wires, without using the usual way that we get information back and forth, which is electricity running through wires. And so there's a few different options. The one that we're going to demonstrate today is actually going to be infrared. And so we're going to be using light waves. So light waves traveling through space, sending signals from us to our Arduino. Now, these are some special kind of light waves in that our eyes can't actually see them. So they're a wavelength that's just a little bit longer than our eyes can detect. And so that's infrared light. And so we can't see the light, but we can still use it to send signals back and forth. And we're going to talk about kind of what that means for our invention and basically, yeah, communicating wirelessly with different things. So first thing I want to show you is a wiring diagram. And so this is my setup here. I've got a breadboard. I have I should probably share my screen with you. This is the sensor that we're going to be using. This is an infrared sensor. And so let me share my screen so you can see what I'm looking at. All right, so here we've got a diagram. This infrared sensor has 3 legs on it. So it's got 3 wires coming out. And if you point that infrared sensor towards you, so you kind of got this bubble pointing at you, on the right side is going to be your positive 5-volt power. And so if you remember, the most important thing about these breadboards is that in this middle section here, these columns are connected. So all I'm doing is I'm connecting this 5-volt, I'm using a wire to then connect to this wire on our sensor. So all I'm doing is making sure that this is in the same line as this wire, all right? Our middle lead right here, so this middle wire coming out of our sensor, that's going to get connected into our breadboard, which is going to connect it to another wire that's going to go to ground, G and D. So we've got our positive and our negative part of our circuit. And then we've also got what we call our data line. And so the left side of this is going to be connected to our Arduino, and that's actually where information is going to be getting sent back and forth from the sensor to the Arduino. And so that's going to connect to a wire, and that wire is going to go up, and it's going to go into the digital 11 port on the Arduino. I've also got one more thing right here. I've got an LED. I have the long leg of that LED stuck into pin 13, and the short end of that LED stuck into ground. And so something to know about pin 13, it's kind of a special digital pin in that we can just put a LED directly in it. We actually don't need a resistor. Usually if we're going to connect one of these to an LED, we would need a resistor in order to slow down the electricity so that we don't burn out our light bulb, basically. But because pin 13 actually already has a resistor in the circuit, it's in the board, we can just stick an LED right in there. So this is just going to keep things simple so that I don't have to run wires, put my LED on my breadboard. I'm just going to stick it in here. And we're going to try to turn this LED on and off using a remote control. All right, so that's our wiring diagram. You can also, on the curriculum under wireless communication, that wiring diagram is available here. So if you ever need it, we're also going to have some source code. All of that is going to be accessed in your curriculum down here in the links. This should be the video that you're watching right now. Once I get that done, I will post it. So let's stop presenting. All right, so I'm going to slide this back here. Each of your kits should come with an infrared remote. So you're going to take that out of its package. And then one thing to know is that there is this kind of cover right here that keeps our battery from connecting. And I think the battery is in the right way. Let's see here. There we go. Plus is, yep. Our battery looks like it should be installed in the right way. So you should just have to pull out this plastic that kind of keeps this battery from discharging. And you should be good with your remote. You're gonna need your IR sensor. I'm just gonna see if I can show you this right here. All right, so this is the exact same wiring that I just had you do. And so this is gonna be my setup. I've got my wireless remote, and I'm going to basically be pressing on the number 1. You just have to pick which one of these you want to use to send and receive. So I'm going to press number 1, and you can see right now when I press number 1, nothing is happening. So this light is not turning on or off because we're going to need to put some code into our Arduino so that we can understand the signals that are coming out of this remote control. So let's give that a shot right now. I will share my screen again. All right, so on your curriculum website, there's actually 2 codes that we're gonna need. We're gonna start with this decode, the remote source code. So this is gonna be our first code that we're going to open up. We're gonna open this up in the web editor. So you might need to sign in if you're not already signed in, but you should see this code. It's called decode remote. And what this is gonna do is it's basically going to set our Arduino to receive the codes from our remote. So infrared light is all around us. You know, it's coming from the sun. It's kind of what we lots of times feel as heat. And so this sensor is being bombarded with infrared light all the time. And so we need to let the sensor know what infrared light is actually coming from our remote and what infrared light is not. So now that I've loaded up, so press this arrow button to load this code onto your Arduino. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to open up my monitor. So this monitor link lets me see, you know, what information is being loaded into this Arduino. So there is a command right here. It says serial print. And so that's basically just printing out the results from our Arduino. And so I'm going to use my remote, and I'm going to press the number 1 button. You can see every time I press the number 1 button, there's a few things coming through, but you can see that there's one that's pretty constant. This is not actually that constant. Okay. So I'm pretty sure it's that 429 number. So this is actually our code. Let me see if I try it. See if I try a different number. I should get a different code. I do get a different code. Let's just try the OK. There we go. This so this remote is definitely not the best. Let's see if we can just try. There we go. Now I'm getting a regular number here. There we go. Hey, I just have to be very careful about which number I press. But it looks like I'm getting a common number right here. So this is the code for that remote. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to write down this code, or I can copy it and paste it somewhere. But that is 1675325. And then what I'm going to do once I have that is I am going to put that into our other code. So I'm going to go back to our intern's website. So I decoded my signal. Now I'm going to go to the IR remote source code. I'm going to open this up next. And this is still decode remote. Did I not get the right source code in here? Yeah, I did not get the right source code in here. I will have the right source code in there by the time you watch this video. And it's going to be called IR remote. So I'll make sure that this is the right source code. So that link should be fixed by the time you watch this. And what this is going to be saying is I basically need to put into here the code that I just wrote down. So I just wrote down 1, 6, 7, 5, 3, 2, 4, 5. So that's the code that I just wrote down. That's the code for the button that I was pressing. And so I'm going to verify and save that. Make sure, yep, our code is all good. So now I can upload and save. So now I'm sending this code to our Arduino. And now what this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to turn our LED on and off. So this is really just looking for this code from our remote control. When it sees this code, it's going to set this LED to on or off. And I have this first LED set to number 13. You can actually control multiple LEDs using multiple different buttons on your remote if you wanted to. So feel free to kind of play around with that. But I've just got our code number 1 set to LED 1, which is our pin 13. So let's go and test it out. Moment of truth. Let's stop presenting. Let's see if this works. Hey, I'm able to turn this on and off. So there is infrared light going between from this remote control to this sensor. The sensor registers that code of specific light coming in and turns a LED on or turns it off. Now, you can see that if I put like a piece of paper in between this, I can still get this light to go through this piece of paper. But let's say I put a piece of cardboard in here. I can sometimes get it to go through. Depends how far away the cardboard is. If the cardboard's far enough away, it will go through. But if the cardboard's close, it still goes through. How about 2 sheets of cardboard? So you can kind of get an idea of what these light waves can travel through. 2 sheets of cardboard, kind of getting through, not as good, not bad. Yeah, sometimes gets through, sometimes it doesn't. So you can see that this infrared light is able to go through different things than visible light. And so we've got some different options for how we want to communicate with our Arduino, if we want to communicate wirelessly with it, or if we want our Arduino to communicate wirelessly with something else. And so the options really kind of come down to infrared, which is kind of what your remote control uses. This infrared definitely can kind of make it through a few things like paper, cardboard, but if you wanted to try to go through walls or something more like that, infrared light is not going to work. Obviously, you can't use your remote control from through a wall very easily. The next option that we can have is we can get actually some specific modules for our Arduino to use some different wavelengths of light. And so this is an RF module, so it's using radio frequency. So just like your radio is able to get a signal from far away and play music, this is able to use that same type of light that our eyes can't see to send a signal or receive a signal from another one of these. And so the good thing about radio waves is that they don't require a lot of power. They can also travel pretty long distance. They can travel through walls and things like that pretty easily. The only bad thing about radio is that you're not able to transfer as much information as quickly as some of the other things that you can use. And so if we take a look at your cell phone is a wireless communication tool, right? is basically sending light that our eyes can't see, to towers and sending that information back and forth. And so that's wireless communication. You can also obviously connect your phone to your computer and send wireless communication between your phone and computer. And so you can also connect your phone to the internet, and you can send, light signals between your phone and the internet and the router in your house. Sending that back and forth so that you could, stream YouTube or whatever else. Maybe you're even watching this, getting that signal wirelessly. And so the main tools that our modern devices use to send and receive signals, send and receive information really fast, that would be either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. And so Bluetooth is definitely lower power, but it also doesn't send quite as far. Wi-Fi is higher power. It sends farther, and it's fast, but Wi-Fi can't, send as far as radio or something like that. So as you start to, I guess, think about, do we want our invention to communicate wirelessly with something else? We need to start thinking about what type of wireless communication do we want to use? Do we want to use radio? Do we want to use infrared? Do we want to use Wi-Fi? Do we want to use Bluetooth? All of those, we can buy a module for and use any of those with our Arduino. It just depends on, how far do we want to go? How much power are we using? How much data do we need to send? Do we need to send it fast? Or does it not matter? Can it take a long time to send data? So think about those things. I want you to definitely have a conversation with the other people in your group about, what is wireless communication? How does it work? It's kind of crazy because we have this light going around, sending signals back and forth all the time that our eyes just can't see it. Ours can only see like this very kind of narrow wavelengths of light. There's all this other information, whether it's microwaves or X-rays or all these different electromagnetic light waves moving around us all the time that we can't see. But we can use them. We can use them to transfer information between ourselves and the internet, between a remote control and our TV, or between our Arduino and something else that we're trying to connect to it. So go ahead and chat about those things, and we'll see you next time.